A man who had just woken up did not notice a terrifying news report on TV at the moment. A recently unknown virus similar to rabies was sweeping the world. Infected people would lose their sanity and become extremely aggressive. It was hoped that the general public would take good preventive measures. Without seeing the news, he went out as usual and found that there were an unusually large number of ambulances on the road today. And when he went shopping in the supermarket, he saw that everyone was frantically purchasing supplies. Although Lego felt strange, he didn't think much about it. He only bought a few days' worth of food and then returned home. It was not until his sister sent a video in the evening that he understood what had happened. The other person, who was in the government department, knew more inside information. He said that this virus was more serious than reported. The official had built a safe zone in advance on an island and asked his younger brother to come and meet him to go to the shelter together. Hearing that the situation was so serious, Lego immediately booked a plane ticket and prepared to leave. However, just when he was queuing up to board the plane, the ticket checking system suddenly failed. Then he saw that all flights were cancelled. Immediately, everyone received an emergency communication. Because the virus was spreading too fast, the country had been completely under martial law and no one was allowed to enter or leave. Some people immediately realized that something was wrong and started making a fuss. Lego also quickly called his sister to ask about the situation. The other side said that he should go home and wait first and that she would send someone to pick him up immediately. But when he returned, he found that the streets had long been blocked. The people who received the news also panicked and started to flee for their lives. Looking at the large number of people forced together here, Lego, feeling something was wrong, immediately abandoned his car and walked home with his luggage. But when he returned home tiredly, he found that his neighbor's house had been heavily guarded by soldiers. Then he saw that the other person was tied up with his hands and feet and was constantly roaring and twisting his body, which made people's scalps tingle. Lego's desire to leave quickly became even stronger. But the next day, his sister brought bad news. The official not only put their place under martial law but also planned to set up an isolation zone to control the virus. Soon the army would forcibly evacuate everyone. But even the place after evacuation was definitely far more dangerous than the safe zone. So he needed his younger brother to try his best to avoid the soldiers' surge and wait until this place was completely abandoned before coming to pick him up. Thinking that it would take a long time to wait for rescue, Lego immediately went to the supermarket to stockpile supplies, only to find that the shelves had long been emptied. There was nothing he could do but pick up some food scattered on the ground. But just when he was about to leave with his backpack barely full, he suddenly saw a policeman running over with his blood-covered arm. Then he locked the supermarket door in panic. Before Lego could react, he saw a large number of people screaming and fleeing into the distance. Then another policeman was instantly pounced on by an infected person. My girlfriend and I really like this thrilling plot. If you also want to find a girlfriend to watch dramas together, I suggest you give it a try. You can match single beautiful women in the same city on the app. There are all kinds of cute and gentle ones, and you can get out of the single very quickly. Seeing this, he quickly picked up a stick and wanted to go forward to help. But the next second, he was frightened by the terrifying aura of the infected person. The two finally solved the problem with mutual help, but before Lego could celebrate his narrow escape, he saw that the injured policeman in the house had quickly mutated. Looking at the miserable situation of his companion, the other injured policeman quickly asked Lego to stay away from him and then directly shot himself in despair. After Lego returned home, he immediately nailed all the doors and windows shut and then pulled the curtains to block the view inside the house. Because at this time, the army had begun to evacuate the people one after another. Soon there was a knock on the door outside his house. Lego quickly hid in the corner and dared not make a sound. Finally, he narrowly escaped the soldiers' surge. Soon half a month passed, and the whole city had long become a ghost town and was completely abandoned. But Lego still hadn't waited for rescue, and without a signal, he couldn't contact his sister either. At this time, the food was about to run out. There was nothing he could do but risk going out to search for supplies. With only a harpoon gun, he didn't dare to go too far. He could only break into the neighboring houses to search. But after searching several houses in a row, he found nothing. But just when he was perseveringly going to the next place, he unexpectedly found that there was someone who hadn't evacuated like him. It turned out that the old lady hadn't caught the car because of her disabled legs, and her appearance made the situation even worse. Fortunately, he, who watched the wind at the window every day, knew which house had stored food. Under her guidance, Lego not only began to have some gains but also accidentally found a motorcycle in one of the houses. The improvement in flexibility greatly increased his range of activities. Soon Lego obtained a large amount of supplies again. The two supported each other like this and survived for another period of time. But as the supplies nearby were gradually exhausted, they soon reached a desperate situation again. Just when he was worried. But the strange looks and languages of the people made him feel uneasy. Fortunately, someone had learned his language. When he heard that they wanted to dock to find supplies and repair the ship, Lego quickly said that he was a local and could lead the way and that he also knew a safe zone. But the captain didn't have much reaction after hearing this. He had seen many so-called safe zones organized by survivors. Only when Lao Ma said something to the captain did the other side turn around and leave. It turned out that he lied that Lego was an engineer, because the law was useless in this apocalyptic world. Only useful people deserved to live. Just like himself, he was a pilot. But Lao Ma could only help so much, and the rest could only depend on himself. Soon at night, Lego heard shots for help outside. It turned out that they had encountered several more survivors. But the next day, he didn't see those people at all. Feeling that something was wrong, Lego quickly came to ask Lao Ma. Lao Ma coldly said that he should mind his own business. After hearing this, Lego immediately realized that this place was not as good as he thought. He quickly said that he knew a hospital where there was a helicopter and that the two of them could fly there together to avoid danger. But after thinking about it, Lao Ma still didn't move. There was nothing Lego could do but escape alone. At night, he quietly slipped into the cruise lounge and planned to steal a key to an inflatable boat and leave by boat. But he found that the survivors rescued yesterday were tied up here. Lego quickly stepped forward to untie the ropes. But the next second, the person who was about to escape was directly shot into a sea. Only then did the guarding crew and Lao Ma quickly run over. But at the critical moment, he suddenly attacked the crew and then killed the other side after a fight. It turned out that Lao Ma had been convinced by the words during the day. He quickly took several people and got on a small boat. But just when they were about to leave, they were still discovered. The only remaining survivor was instantly shot dead. Lao Ma quickly opened fire to cover and then was also injured in the shoulder during the battle. Fortunately, the two of them successfully reached the shore alive, but after driving to the hospital, he found that there was no helicopter on the apron. And before he could figure out what to do next, Lego, who wasn't looking at the road, directly collided with an infected person rushing forward. Soon the dirty blood made the windshield so blurry that he could hardly see. There was nothing he could do but slam on the brakes to throw the infected person off and then shoot at it. He immediately sat on the other side when getting off the car and then quickly turned around to deal with the group of corpses that came after hearing the noise. Although this directly consumed all his bullets, it also allowed the two of them to smoothly enter the hospital. Because Lao Ma's injury couldn't be delayed, Lego quickly searched for surgical tools everywhere. But the next second, he heard movement in the ventilation duct. He quickly walked over and listened carefully and found that there was indeed someone talking inside. Unable to find the entrance, he quickly called out. But this directly attracted an infected person. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, he saw a large number of infected people coming after hearing the noise. Lego could only run downstairs quickly and then quickly closed the door when returning to the operating room. But strangely, Lao Ma disappeared at this time. The next second, it turned out that there were survivors hiding in the safe back building. They not only helped Lao Ma with the operation but also Lego learned that the helicopter was parked in the backyard. But to get there, they had to pass through an area full of infected people. Just when Lego was thinking about whether to take the risk, he suddenly heard gunshots downstairs. It turned out that the gangsters on the cargo ship had also come here to search for supplies. The sudden situation forced them to fight desperately. But just when they split the passage, an infected person suddenly rushed out and directly knocked down the nurse. Although everyone quickly took action to solve the problem, the woman was still bitten by the infected person. She told everyone not to approach her and that they must take the children and leave safely. Although everyone was extremely sad after hearing this, they still had to endure the pain and leave her behind and set off again. Soon they came to the area with infected people. Everyone walked carefully one by one. But just when Lego was about to lead the last child over, an accident suddenly happened. The scream instantly attracted the attention of all the infected people. In a hurry, Lego could only hold the child and hide in a cabinet beside. But even so, it still couldn't last long. Just when he was about to hold on, after a burst of gunshots, it gradually became quiet outside. It turned out that the gangsters searching everywhere accidentally saved him. Fortunately, the other side didn't find the people hiding. They narrowly escaped this crisis. But the next section was the most difficult because this short 100 meters was full of infected people. At this time, Lego looked around and suddenly had a plan. He saw that they tied all the fences together to form a circle. In this way, they could slowly move forward while protecting themselves. But the plan was not as perfect as expected. All the infected people saw this and crazily rushed over. This not only greatly increased the difficulty of their progress but also required them to prevent the infected people from jumping in by piling up. Several people could only keep attacking and quickly moving forward. Finally, they narrowly reached the big iron gate. Then they chopped open the lock and at the same time pass.